Hey, what's going on, guys? Steve Van D. Oh, you recording? You want to roll it? Cameron, what the fuck? Where's your mic, man? You do that every time. Fucking good, man. Hey, what's going on, guys? Steve Van Diest here, and welcome to the Thought Exchange. I got my boy Cameron Barkey.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Thought Exchange.
Thought Exchange. We got a great guest in the house today, Goddessa. Yes. So you guys, if you guys want, you want to introduce yourself? Do you want to start first?
Sure, I will.
Yeah.
Hello, which camera am I looking at?
This is your camera over here.
This is mine.
This is
Okay,
yours.
so I
This
just
is,
look-
you can
hi.
talk to that one right there. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Charlene Smith, aka Queen C.
Okay. And then you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Katya.
Katya. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Do you go by a different name or no? That's just by Katya. Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. Before we started, we're gonna go right into this. Before we started, you guys were talking about.
No. We can't start with that. We got to do a bit of a background on Goddessa.
Do you want to go to?
Yeah, we're not going down that right off.
It was
Wow.
quite a road.
Yeah. Before, okay.
It was heavy. It was a heavy conversation. I
heavy,
never
it
got a
was
chance to
heavy.
put my 2 cents.
No.
Two cents will come.
I was excited.
Yeah, leave it. No.
Okay.
Can't throw them right under the bus. And people who are listening right now on the audio and the camera here, they got no idea what we're talking about.
They got no backstory.
Anyways, backstory is, without getting into it, was just before the episode, we were having a pretty heated conversation, and Steve was like, "All right, let's start the episode." So now we're here. Anyways, we're not gonna get into what we were talking about before the show.
Okay,
Let's talk about Goddessa here for a little bit. So, what do you guys do? Are you guys dancing, or what do you guys?
Let me take over.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, us as Goddessa, I mean, we're a group, collective, but also really focused as an entertainment group.
Okay.
Female artists is what we inspire to display, to show, and to allow for their voices to be heard. So that can be in all sorts of artistic expression. So we're not just limited to any sort of one particular style, not just dance, not just vocals, live instrumentation, there's rap, hip hop, burlesque, like we do anything that really comes to our soul, but mostly the shows that we've had have comprised of hip hop themed and burlesque themed things. So because the burlesque has a little bit more the acting element, so we enjoy the the performance value of that, and it's a lot more engaged with the audience, and yeah, a little bit more of a storyline that can be conveyed in a
Nice.
burlesque show. So yeah.
Nice. And how did you two kind of get involved? How did it all start?
Yeah, so I mean, it started as kind of like a vision, a dream that came through to me when I was traveling in Central America 7 years ago. And I was hiking this mountain on the solstice, and it sounds kind of woo-woo, but it was real. Like, it was the real deal. And yeah, I just saw this thing so clearly of like women performing together. It's like steezy as fuck, lots of gold, lots of rap, DJs, like gold glitter. And it was just like an army of women, and like it was for the planet. I don't know, it's hard to describe in words. And so this thing just shook me, and ever since then it's been like my focus to kind of build towards that. And it, of course, like received this vision very clearly, and then it just kind of left to my own devices after that. So just bit by bit over a long period of time, connected with different people who kind of shared a similar desire, and to just started little collaborations here and there, and like over time it grew, and it really, I would say, came into being when Charlene and I met a couple years ago at Alchemy of Women Festival. Mm-hmm. And it was this beautiful collision of worlds, and we're like, holy fuck, like we have a lot in common. There's everything just kind of started clicking into place. And I had gathered a tribe of women, and she had gathered a tribe of women, and our tribes kind of converged at that point. And just amazingly talented, beautiful women, the inside out, with lots to share, lots to say on all the creative fronts: poetry, dancing, singing, instrumentation, you name it. And so emceeing comedy.
Yeah,
And,
comedians. So funny.
So
The comedians are fun.
We've had comedians, yeah. We've had quite a fun array of talented women come through. Yeah, we have some comedians rock the stage. We have some spoken word rocking the stage. I mean, yeah.
So you guys, is this? I'm still trying to get a clear picture of it. Was this like sort of like a label then? And you're signing these girls, or are you throwing events? Like
it's kind of like an umbrella. It's going in the direction of being a label, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, we do throw shows. We're an entertainment company right now.
Yeah.
And so
right now it's kind of like an ideology where like Goddessa is the
I like that.
it's like a movement of women that come
a
together.
movement. Yes,
I like
it is
that.
a movement.
It is. It totally is. It's honestly because of the way in which it has organically formed itself. Like really and truly, the meeting of Katya and I together, that was just pure magic. It's so funny because, you know, I've been roving around here knowing the same people she knows, and she's roving around over here. It's like her constantly circling around like this. Till finally it was just like bam, and I was like, oh, okay, hey, who's you? like who's you? I'm like strumming my guitar, and she's listening. I see her strumming her guitar, and I'm like, heavens opened up. So like, it is definitely something that takes on a life of its own. And I think that those are the things that are most precious, and also the things that will stand the test of time are the things that organically form on its own. It's just like something kind of beyond our own conscious control, but it is like this urge to create. So our urge to create in an artistic way, our urge to write songs, our urge to collaborate together to write these songs, to me helping her learn how to dance, her helping me ground more into my voice and into my body with that. Like, it's just a continuous development of ourselves in the process, and then also so happens to be it's like we create this baby together called Goddessa. And so it's birthed, and right now it's, you know, in its little toddler phases, and it's definitely getting its legs, and all the people who are supposed to be in it are starting to find their place within it. But essentially, if you were to call up Goddessa and be like, hey, I need a show, then we would be your entertainment for the night. We'd have live instrumentation, or there'd be Katya on the keyboard, our boy Nicky Dubs, one guy.
You got the token guy on the,
we got
in the group.
The one male, the one divine masculine in the group, who makes sure our tracks are all good, who helps to produce our tracks as well. He's there, and then we'll have our burlesque dancers that come through, so we can put together an entire show. We were hired for the Works Gala. We were their entertainment for the night. Singing,
at the Fairmont.
Yeah, at the Fairmont Hotel.
McDonald,
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
When was the Works? In June? Or July?
We had
Beginning of July.
June 14th was the gala, so it was beginning of July. Yeah.
But it was the gala, the opening kickoff party for all the staff and the volunteers, certain artists.
And to raise money for the interns scholarships.
Yes.
Intern scholarships.
Yeah. For the Works Gala. Not for us. We ain't there yet.
They have an intern scholarship there.
Oh yeah, internships.
That's really
cool. The Works Gala has been around for like 35 years. The woman who runs it,
Linda
Fried.
35 years, you said?
Wedman.
Did you say
35 years, exactly. And for the past 25 years, I believe, or so, they've been doing the Works Gala to raise money for their internships. Yeah, it's really cool.
Is that like Alberta Works? It's the same thing?
It's a local arts festival.
Okay.
That's typically held in Churchill Square. It might be beyond Edmonton, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I didn't know it was 35 years long. Weird.
Yeah.
That's the one with the little eyeball on it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
That's the one.
It's on 100th Street?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
I know some details.
They had it at the legilegiture this year because Churchill's been shut down. But
yeah, because the library, that big
That's right.
Yeah, the tank,
thing,
tank that they put up in the on Churchill Square, just in case. I think it's set up just in case some shit goes down. The library can just drive out.
that thing is
It's just waiting.
Probably.
That's actually really funny. That library is getting like memed all over the internet, though, isn't it? It's like beyond Edmonton right now.
I know, it's getting reamed out hard.
Yeah, we're getting beat up for that thing. Yeah.
Really hard. But like the old one, the new one.
Well, it's funny too because like now we're going to the library. But the library originally was just supposed to be a quick little like fixer upper, and then they tore it apart and they go. Then the foundation guys go, oh, I don't know, man. Now that we ripped out the walls, I think it's gonna be it's a lot more than we thought. You know, we could leave it like this. We already gutted the whole thing.
Might as well take it down.
Might as well we're gonna have to redo the whole foundation now. Like I didn't realize the foundation was this bad. So sorry.
I know.
So like they're like. Now we're like bent over a barrel. We have no choice. And then they're like, yeah, we'll build it like this beautiful, huge thing. It's got nice renderings and stuff. Comes out looking like. They got hosed, man. Who's the project manager on that one? They just got hosed from the beginning. You know, someone saw the poor guy and went like,
poor guy.
There's a sucker.
Right?
Take that guy for everything he's got. I'm like, yeah, we can. Oh, super cheap facelift on this thing.
Fucking millions of dollars later.
They've been working on that thing now for how many years now?
I guess, hey. Steve, how long have you been thinking about this?
I don't know. It just popped in, man. That's funny.
Yes.
I know all the details come out and be like,
That's
there's
so
this guy,
funny.
his name, Jib, you over there, and calling out everyone's name.
That's funny. So you two were performing at Hotel McDonald for the work.
Yeah, we've been performing a lot. We put on our own shows.
Yeah.
That have, I think every single one of them's been sold out in the last year. They've been back to back almost every month. We've done shows, and then we get hired on to perform for other events and festivals. We headlined at Astral Harvest this year in Northern Alberta. Yeah, we performed at the
Wow, that's a pretty big one. Astral Harvest is a decent sized festival. In Alberta, anyway.
People,
yeah, that's
How
pretty
many?
good.
About 5,000.
5,000? That's pretty good.
It was great. It was massive. It was a huge turnout. I mean, it was a lot of work too, getting to that point. So many things that happened. Like I said, all a part of like this personal development, expansion, goddess growing
It's
thing.
like fire after fire.
Yeah, honestly, and it's just, what it really reminded me of is just like this understanding that no matter what sort of concept of success it is that you're going for, and everybody wants like, when they look at us like, oh, Goddessa, like, wow, because we have promo videos, and we look good, look good. And we do our, honestly, I like it.
That's confidence, eh?
It's
Most
true.
people be like, we got these promo videos. It's nothing crazy. If you want to look, you're okay.
Nah, man.
You're like, no, it was fucking good. This was good.
Talented women and a big pack of us,
on point, and people see us perform and they're like, wow, like, oh my gosh, and we get messages after messages. I want to be part of Goddessa. I want to be part of Goddessa. Da-da-da-da-da. What do I have to do? And like, the thing is like about anything with success, I'm realizing is like, yeah, you want all of the great things and the feel goods and like the end product. You want that end product. But like, you gotta want the shit that comes with it too.
Yeah.
Like, Tony Robbins always says like, the problem with people is that they think they're not supposed to have any. And it's true. When you want success, you have to want the type of problems that come with those successes.
You know what a successful person is? Problem solver.
That's exactly it.
That's all you are.
And that's all we've been doing. Constant, like, okay, this is happening. Strategize. How do we do this?
Yeah.
And especially like as a group of women, and because of the fact that we are literally repatterning our consciousness, repatterning our ways of being together, especially as women, because we're taught so much to be in competition with one another. So then like learning how to collaborate with each other, again, that's repatterning within ourselves, repatterning how we behave around each other. And that's like problem after problem that show up. And instead of running away from it, you learn how to alchemize it.
Dive right into it.
And that is, if there's anything that I've realized about this lovely journey, both with, Goddessa, her empowered voice, my Innerverse Connect company, is that we're problem solvers. And at the end of the day, people get to see the end result of a shit ton of problems. Solved, yeah.
That's the thing. If the more money you want to make, the bigger the problem you have to solve.
More money, more problem.
No, like that's all it is. So if you want to make like lots of money, charge lots of money, you have to solve a big problem.
It's true.
Big problem. The bigger the problem, the more money you can charge to fix it.
It's true.
Little problems, not so like
Exactly.
anyone can fix them.
It's true.
Big problems that you need a specialty.
I like
know?
how you called it a movement because I think that really encapsulates what is happening here. It is not, like Shar said, it's not just the show.
Yeah.
The show is sparkly and it's more and more polished and professional all the time. And that's great. But what it is it's revolutionary, I feel, in what we're doing in creating this safe space for women to come and excavate themselves. We go deep. And we hold space for each other and support one another to go beyond the blockages that hold us back, to do what we really want to do. And everybody has shit in the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Nobody wants to let go. And it's all about letting go. Like it really is. Like as soon as you let go, as soon as you just say, okay, just take me, 'cause then things start to flow.
It's true.
And it has to flow because, like, especially with female energy. Female energy is different than
Very
male
much.
energy. Female
Exactly.
energy
Very
is
much
very
so.
flowy.
Very much.
Male energy is very rigid.
Yeah.
Like very to the point, hard turns,
Yeah.
hard left.
Yeah.
But female energy is more about going with the flow and doing
Yeah.
that. So the more you just enjoy your moments and enjoy the way they are.
There is that, and I totally agree with that 100%. I would definitely say there's the flow, but even with our last show at Astral Harvest, our theme was the concept of duality, and it is the idea of embracing both the masculine and the feminine within us.
Yeah.
Because as much as, and this is the thing about like, oh, just let go. And it's great, like hippie mentality. Sometimes, like, yeah, just let go. But sometimes shit don't get done if you just let go. You know what I mean? All this energy gets to be, but if it continues to go this way, like, there's no actual impact in terms of what it can affect if the energy flows out. But when we have this idea of, and that's what we actually really help to do for each other, because we're both quite, our own masculine and feminine within ourselves, very strong women, whatever it may be. Motivated, very motivated and inspired, because it's our vision that really draws us in together and for everything else. But it's just like our ability to help each other, like we give each other sort of like the masculine, rigid, like, okay, what is it that we want? We want this. Cool. Boom. We put the structures in. Now flow.
Yeah.
Now let
flow
go.
around it.
But you have to, and this is why, like, we love doing exactly what we do, creating the stage. That's the masculine.
Yeah.
We get to create the stage, we create the structure. Now flow all within this.
Yeah.
Do all that you want right here. And let it be, and then that feels safe too. That is creating a container. That's holding the space. And that's what I feel like is a part of the movement that we're doing, because that's the empowering part, is that we're actually able to show up for ourselves. We're able to create that container for ourselves. And then we're also able to let go within that space, knowing that we're held not only by ourselves but amongst each other. Exactly.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, and working through the shit that comes up, like, women typically, like, I hear it all the time, like, wow, like, that's so many women. We've had up to 30 women in a show, big shows that take a lot of time, a lot of rehearsal time all together. And people are like, I didn't know that many women could work together. Like, that's unheard of. And things are changing. There's kind of this global movement of women supporting women and kind of like healing that old belief that, women are catty, like we're, passive aggressive, and really like we don't actually want each other to succeed, because at the end there's not enough for everybody. But that's bullshit. That's a lie.
That's a scarcity mentality.
That is scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
So
where do most of these ideologies come from, though?
This is why us doing this for so long had to happen, because my life had to happen. All of my trials and tribulations and creation of my company, Interverse Connect, growing up in a very strict religious household, then breaking from that into, I don't know what's happening in life, then having to root back into my concept of like, what is God? What is this? What are we here as humans? Oh my God, what is the meaning of life? Oh shit, there is no meaning. Oh, but the whole idea is to create meaning. Okay. Like, going through all of these things and my own journey with my concept of divinity and then discovering yoga for myself, which I am a yoga teacher as well.
I was noticing that. So you have this yogi dance.
Yes, that's one of my lovely creations, and that's how we actually pretty much met, and how we really
in the yoga class.
Well, at the Alchemy of Women Festival, she was hosting her yogi dance workshop, and I was hosting a voice empowerment hip hop kind of workshop. So I attended her workshop. And I was like, oh my God, this is the medicine that I've been seeking. This is what I need. And then she came to my workshop and had a similar experience.
Which was the only workshop I attended at that festival.
Yeah.
And I just so happened to have stumbled on like And it was so, she cracked me open there. So I was like, always been a writer. I'm like, I can, close doors, write my poetry and do my thing, then present it to the world. But then, she's showing us how to do this freestyle. I'm like, and then just started doing it. And I felt that awesome comfort, wisdom from her. And that's what really kind of drew me in.
That's where you guys connected, the deepest?
Yeah.
So you started rapping.
Yeah, she got me into that.
I started dancing with her and twerking with her, learning choreography. I've been dancing my whole life. I've been a go-go dancer. I love moving my body.
Just freestyling.
But I never learned choreography before. So Charlene helped me break down a lot inside myself to be able to.
So this wasn't one of your first interactions though. You started rapping and she started dancing.
No, we took each other's workshops at this festival.
Yeah.
And that's where we met.
Yeah.
And then we were like, wow, I want what you got. She's like, I want what you got. Let's hang out. Let's have a conversation. The more we hung out, the more we realized there was something there.
Ah, okay. I was picturing it. That was one of the first interactions, and you switched the workshops, and then you just you started rapping, she started dancing, and you guys were like, whoa, this is really dope. But no, I was like, whoa.
Immediately right at the
I thought that was immediately right at the thing.
Actually, it really was.
Did, because we had that share circle at the end,
we
and
did.
everyone was dropping some pretty dope lines.
It was
actually.
true, yeah, we were actually.
Yeah, that's what was pictured in my head, and I was like, whoa.
If they were to make a movie,
yeah.
They would probably speed it up and put it
and do it like that. Okay.
Do it like that, where you just start doing the rap, and then she starts dancing, and you're like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?"
It's like, yo, oh my god,
into a montage, and that's the montage, and then you guys are writing and dancing, doing choreography. And after the Rocky song is over, you guys are basically doing a full-blown choreography.
That's what I was picturing in my head.
Well, it's true then. It's totally true.
Yeah.
That's pretty
so I just wanted to ask if that's how it was. I was like, yo, it's kind of wild.
In a short synopsis,
I've met people like that, sort of, where you're just like, even at hip hop shows myself, it's just like the same sort of thing. You start vibing with somebody, you're like, yo, this is dope, and then your first interaction is you guys kind of dancing or whatever.
That happened. Chilling. That happened to me one time when I was
good
at
communication, whatever.
I was at a house party with a bunch of musicians, and I was just like the way everything just flowed. I was just like it was a 20-minute, 25-minute jam session, and it was just I recorded the whole thing.
Dude, it was sweaty.
Huh? Did you see it?
Yeah, it just looked sweaty.
They looked sweaty, but it was just
had a few of those.
But they were just
25-minute jam.
It was a 25-minute non-stop song, and it literally flowed. The recording of it was just this is straight to recording. It was amazing because it literally switched from one singer to the next swimmer to they would switch instruments, but it never skipped a beat.
Never stopped. No.
It never stopped. The drummers would switch out, and I'm like, when did the drummer switch? I didn't even see the drummer switch, and they would just switch out, and they'd be switch out, switch positions, and they would just stay in the groove and stay in the move, and I was just like,
that's you tapping into a collective consciousness.
Yeah, and there was no words. There was everything was just done, all the vocals were sounds and
articulations, feelings.
Yeah, and it was just wow.
That's the most beautiful feeling.
Yeah, it was interesting to be in the center of that. I was in the center, and I was like, this is a little
absorbing it all.
Absorbing it all,
It was a little heavy.
Totally.
It was a little heavy. I was like, whoa, this is a lot.
You're almost ready to grab the microphone.
No. My thing was the camera. Even my camera flowings was just flowing with everything. It was a one-shotter. The whole thing was a one-shotter, but I did it on a gimbal, so the whole thing is
really. That's awesome.
Yeah, the whole thing just flowed.
So you tapped into it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone tapped. I was in on it.
Everybody was doing your part.
Everyone was doing their part.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why I was in. It was wild. So.
We've had some fun jam sessions.
Yeah, we definitely have, and everybody's so multi-talented too. Charlene is an amazing writer, amazing poet, amazing rapper, amazing dancer. I play piano, I play violin, I rap, I sing, I dance. So, we're all multi-disciplinary, faceted. And our percussionist, Nicky Dubs, he plays the drums incredibly.
I know, like a madman.
He can play the keys, he sings, he can do 3-part harmony, he live loops any instrument. So he can build any type of beat or song from the ground up on the spot. So, when we're all together and we kind of get into that state, we're swapping roles, this and that. Leah gets up on the drums.
Right, yeah, she gets up. It was so much fun.
Char's freestyling on the mic, I'm dancing, and then we switch. And it's the coolest.
I have to tell them about our jam session. So, where were we? We just finished performing at. It was the Cheshire Productions.
That was for the mental
health awareness.
At the CKUA
at the
radio
CKUL building. Yeah. So we just finished performing, okay? And we're all like having a good time, you know. Had some very legal Mary Jane.
Very legal.
After the
performance, we're very smart. And so we're all in the back room, just in our little green room. And then I think Nikki Dubs just starts going, making a beat.
He's beatboxing.
Yeah, he's beatboxing. I think did you have a little something? He was playing with some, I don't know. But anyhow, all of us, the same sort of vibe, that jam session kind of vibe. So jams breaking out, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, none of us are Spanish in this room. But we're all just like, we're having a siesta. singing our lungs out, and actually really good. Like I think we have it recorded somewhere. And I mean, like doing all sorts of things.
Little
but
harmonies and
siesta
stuff.
is a nap.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
supposed to be
siesta.
fiesta.
It's supposed to be fiesta. The whole time we're singing, we're having a nap.
I'm like, I need a siesta. Vamos a siesta.
I know how that one line can catch, and then it just gets repeated.
It just
over
keeps
and
repeating
over
over and over and over
repeating
again.
the wrong word.
Oh my God, we repeated siesta a million times, and like with like Whitney Houston kind of vocals.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling
Thinking
you,
you guys were
nailed
saying
it too.
siesta?
We nailed it. Nope, none of us caught fiesta. All of us kept going with
I
siesta.
think it was the next day.
It was-
We realized it.
You're like, hey,
They were like, wait a minute.
this is too much energy to want a nap.
People walking down the hallway like those bitches must be tired.
Yeah.
Like they
It's so
just take a nap
backwards, yeah.
already. Like Jesus.
Having a nap. It was so funny. It was so funny. I was just, I love that joke. One of my favorite jam sessions of all time.
That's
between
actually really
us.
funny.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. You hear the recording, like anybody Spanish would be like, damn, these
girls
bitches,
are, yeah.
man. Learn your Spanish. I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm
what
sorry.
are they saying?
Sorry.
I've had those situations too, where like I'd be listening to Daddy Yankee. I don't know if you know Daddy Yankee. So I'd be listening to Daddy Yankee jamming in my car. My mom's in the car with me, but then I'd start listening to the lyrics and I'm like, holy shit! I'm just like, I shouldn't be playing this with my mom in the car.
Nope.
Like,
Oh yeah.
What is he saying?
Oh yeah. No idea.
Like, I gotta turn that one off.
Yeah, we definitely
funny.
had some. Oh, we've had plenty of fun jam sessions.
So where do you primarily meet? Is there like a weekly thing? Like you guys meet up, and is this just kind of like do you have like a culture behind it where you guys like get together every so often? So like quarterly meetings or?
The cool thing is we're all like best friends.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So we see each other all the time. We work together in different capacities. We have like little creative projects in
Amongst
smaller
us.
groups on the go that are happening all the time. You know, whether it's 2 of us, 3 of us, 4 of us, 5 of us. So that's all happening. And you know, when we do a big show all together, of course we get together in practice spaces like LA Fitness on the west side.
Thank goodness.
You know,
I teach there.
there's
so.
a number
At LA
of
Fitness.
places
Cool,
we get.
yeah.
But
Shh,
it's
don't tell them about
Yeah, I was like, when you get like you get booked for a show,
Yeah.
how long is like one of these shows?
So, well, it can depend. So if we
On
were
what
to
the
host,
person wants?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely depends on what the person wants. If it's like one of our events tend to run an
Couple
hour
hours.
at least, an hour and a half. So then it also depends, like if we're booked for a little cameo performance, then a cameo is like usually at least 10 minutes of us
Half an
doing
hour.
something to half an hour, you know. But
45 to-
you know, for like the works, we were there from 5:30 straight up until 11. You know what I mean?
Just
And like
all doing different little things.
Yeah, exactly. Different little things. Had some people roving around, and you know, would have breaks in between our performances. So it really just depends. But like, we have enough material. If we put together a show, it's usually an hour and a half of like a solid performance with little breaks, MC in between. You know what I mean? To make sure that it all flows and goes smoothly and
Cap it
Little
off with
breaks,
a DJ.
cat,
yeah,
like,
cap
There's
it
a
off
lot
with
of
the
moving
DJ.
parts with
you
that.
can get like
Oh, yeah. Tons of moving parts.
costume changes and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah, tons of costume changes. Costume changes is a lovely thing when it comes to the show life. I love it.
So are these?
It's like it's intense backstage,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah,
all
man.
peeling
Flying,
shit
like,
off.
Get out the
helping.
way.
Sometimes there's like 3 girls helping another girl because
Yeah.
she's got to get so
She's
many
not
pieces
ready.
on for the
She's
next
not
number.
ready. Go. Next person, go. And next person show up. So like nothing happens. You know, it's great. I love it, honestly. I love every moment of it. Sometimes there's definite interesting moments that come up, like Astral Harvest. And this is probably definitely a good example of being held by the group because, you know, so many things were happening. At Astral Harvest, we had 22 performers, I believe. That was and we had an hour and a half long set. And things were just you know, we were as prepared as we could be, but show day is, there's always going to be things happening. That's just
What happens?
no matter what, you know what I mean? And so like we had a pole, because we had pole dancers as well. And the pole was not fitting where it's supposed to fit. And because I tend to lead all of the group, like I tend to lead, I'm head choreographer for all the group pieces. And so usually I'm somewhere in the front. And it just so happened that there's a slope on this hill. Like,
Oh, and the pole's not short enough?
and the pole has to not, I thought the pole could be like off the stage and just onto the side, but there's a slope. So I can't risk their lives, so I got to put them on stage. And then I'm also kind of freaking out. I'm like, okay, their lives are fine, but what about me? Like, I'm literally like this on every dance piece. And so for a moment, just before we were just about to go on, because it's literally 5 minutes before showtime, and they're just like, yeah, we can't put the pole over there. We got to put it over here. And I'm like, and I just like started like feeling like this bit of dizziness around me, and I'm just at that breaking point. I've been holding myself together so well, managing all sorts of conflicts and all sorts of things. But then I'm like, okay, so everybody else is fine. And I'm like, but what if I fall? And then all these sort of stories come up into my head, and I just felt myself, and I started to have a panic attack. Right there, right before stage, right before showtime. And of course, I'm first number up, so, you know. And then, thank God for Zoe. Zoe saw me immediately, and she just grabbed me. She held on to me. She looked me dead in my eyes, and she's like, you are keeping it together, girl. You got this? No, she's like, you have been doing this for how long? You know exactly what's going on. You are divine. Everything of what you've done, everything of what you worked for the past 29 years is coming to this moment. You are keeping yourself together. Do you understand? And I was just like, okay. And I just, and she just rubbed my back. Boom, showtime. That was honestly one of the most magical moments for me, to be held like that, because I was gone in that moment. I was like, this is not
It's
happening.
interesting. Like
This is
those
not
high
happening.
pressure situations are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You really start to, because I get that way too. Like when I'm in a high pressure situation, there's time and there's people just all over, and people are barking at you, and you're just kind of like, one thing at a time. I got to deal with one problem at a time. I'm here. Give me a second. And then you just start trying to like just tackle them one at a
Trust
time.
me.
And they
Trust
usually
me.
come at you like
It
tenfold.
was nuts. Oh yeah, because all 22 performers are talking to us. Like it's her and I constantly, you know.
And
It's
Zoe.
and Zoe, absolutely. Thank goodness for Zoe. Yeah, she's been a definite pillar who's definitely stepped up for this
Yeah, I
actual
would
performance.
say and she's kind of really stepped into the position of
Position.
leadership, and that's the beauty is the powerful women that we're surrounded by. Like everybody's a boss bitch. Everybody
Yeah.
runs their own company.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If not one or two or three, like,
yeah, it's crazy.
and we all have each other's backs in these moments. Like
Yeah.
if I don't have her, Zoe's got her, or you know, Tara's got her, or Nicole, or you know, everybody's just such a warrior goddess. Like
Person.
it's-
Cool.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really kind of need those
Thankful.
different heads too, because like, especially like if you can't have like too many performers, because if you have all those performer personalities, I'm like, you need an oracle in there to just organize everybody that's more logical.
Yeah.
And then you need like your explorers who are like, you know, can
Oh,
like
yeah.
deal more with the emotional side of everything. And
Everybody plays their role.
everyone has
for
to play
sure.
their role. And then you
Yeah.
got your soldiers at the bottom that just stand suit and just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do that.
And everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty is, how we kind of complement each other, work together really well, because everybody brings their strengths and their problem-solving expertise, and
Yeah.
in a certain moment or a certain area, and it just works.
Yeah.
So what's the long-term vision? Do we have one, or are you just kind of going step by step?
World domination.
World domination.
That's
What are we
scary. Like
doing
in what
today,
capacity?
Pinky?
Yeah.
Same thing we do every day. Try and take over
Take
the
over the
world.
world. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, well, when you're able to respond, then you can.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility to have that many people under
Yeah.
your
It
leadership.
is.
Okay, so what do you mean by world domination
So,
here?
you know, right now we are a platform and a space for women to come and to express themselves, to shine together, to amplify each other's light. Collaboration over competition. Together we rise. Like these are the slogans, these are our mottos. We say it all the time. And so in the city, we've been doing shows here and there. It's really kind of funneling towards more of a touring circuit. The show, we've explored so many different themes, so many different vibes over the last couple of years. We did a lot more we delved into the depths of like more feminine energy last year with a lot more like folky kind of music, more poetry, medicine songs. And then this year's been really heavily focused into the hip hop and you know, some sexier, more sassier stuff with attitude.
Triggered a few people.
Yeah, all types
triggered a
of.
few people.
Oh yeah.
It's all
We'll
just-
get into that after.
When you
but
get into the
we'll
sexy,
get
it's a whole
into that
other
after.
conversation. But
Trust
so, you know, we've been just organically following and exploring different avenues, and the show has changed. The show continues to change. It's a living thing. It's morphing. It's evolving as we are, and exploring as we are, and reflecting us. And so, you know, as we continue on this journey, you know, we're gonna kind of put it all together, you know, continue to build our storyline
Absolutely.
and take it on the road. You know, we already have offers in Jasper, Drayton Valley, in Alberta, Vancouver, other, you know, so
Yeah.
we're just kind of starting small, but I mean,
I'd
organizing.
say
we have a message.
Yeah.
You know, like whether we're rapping or whether we're singing to the earth, like we have medicine in what we do, each and every one of us, and our intention is to better ourselves, better our sisters, and you know, humanity as a whole, the planet. We all have a lot to say, and yeah,
I would definitely.
big dreams.
Yeah. And I would definitely say like part of that big dreams or that grandiose vision, aside from all the processes that will happen within it in and of itself, but it is to this idea of, I mean, we're here to change the world, but in a lot of ways, like we are, everybody has to play their part. Everybody has to do their thing. Like each one of us has a responsibility to delve into our talents and our gifts, and not just necessarily like kind of be selfish with it, but to share it and to collaborate and to do all these sort of things. So essentially for me, in my vision, and one of my first intentions of coming together with Katya and creating Goddessa and all of what it is an entirely different way of being, an entirely different way of expression, and to then question things that we believe about ourselves. To bring that to the forefront, to question our beliefs even around the concept of sexuality and sensuality in the woman's body, and to bring it to a platform that is visible by all. And so for me, what I love to see is the fact that to build a big ass platform for us to be seen, heard, valued, and to make a fucking difference. Because there's a music industry that, sure, if any one of us wanted to go be part of the music industry, I have no shred of doubt in my mind about our ability to succeed in that sort of
But it's a broken
industry.
system.
But such a fucking
It's
broken
scary.
system.
It's a
scary
system.
system.
There's
and
a lot
run
of
by
dark
old
shit
white
in
men.
there.
And to be honest, and it just is what it is, which is such an repetition of an old paradigm, a repetition of so many old things, and things that are stifling, things that are limiting, very, very consciously limiting, very intentionally limiting, and very much so not in the direction of our human evolution. So,
more about control. Than
exactly.
It is about,
So our intention, or at least dream, is to be an example of what is possible when you come together, rooted in who you are. And also don't have to be perfect, because it's not like we show up perfect and expect perfection out of each other. Like, the rooting into ourselves is the process, and helping each other root into ourselves and root together is just the whole thing. To not be shy away from the process, but to embrace it. So to be an example.
So when you're building the platform, is your main thing, you want it to be a touring show with this positive message to it? You want to have your stuff on syndicated on maybe a TV show or on audio or something like that? Would that be something you'd look into for it?
Absolutely.
We've already said
everywhere.
Everything.
our reality TV show is coming. It's
Definitely.
overdue.
Overdue.
I have a background slightly in documentary filmmaking and a few connections, and we're just we got to get this going, because honestly the stuff that goes on between the shows, leading up to the shows, it's just
it's funny shit.
It's funny, and it's profound.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. So all of the things we definitely
we're
want.
open to it all.
We're open to 100%. We do want, and this is the thing, is as you're building a platform, that means you have to then be on platforms, right? So whether that be the social media platform, media, television, all those things, and each and every single one of us have knack for any one of those.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just all in its own process. I'm fine with not taking on a TV show and doing a show and touring and all those sort of things necessarily
Well,
at
I
the
think-
same time,
I-
unless
this is going to be your test, because as the leaders and stuff, you're going to have to learn to let go. So it's if you the more
That's what we're
there's
learning.
the more
That's what
success you
we're
want,
learning.
the more if you want to take over the world, you can't do it all yourself.
oh yeah,
So you have to build it,
Yeah.
and then hand it off. Build it, hand it off. Build it, hand it off, and then you have to put the right people on the bus, because like
That's
you don't
it.
want to hand it off to someone who's gonna wreck
Of
it.
course,
You want
of
to put it
course.
to someone who's gonna like take that and really turn
Actually.
it into something that's theirs, right?
And
So if you want a
represent.
TV show, you put the TV show together. You have
Yeah,
the idea,
and then have
you put a
somebody
producer in there, and you say,
You're
okay, I'm
right.
done, I'm out. You know, like,
Right.
and then you just participate in it.
Just like Trump on all the towers. They're actually not his buildings, but his name's on everything.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
that's how he makes the money. Like
It's
he
true.
doesn't, he
Licensing,
doesn't,
yeah.
he doesn't make money. It's branding. It's just marketing.
Absolutely.
They're just like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you wanna sell a bunch
Yeah.
of units in this building. The
Yeah.
best way to do it is to say, I built it.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know, just $1
Absolutely.
million a year, and it's yours. I'll give you my name.
Exactly.
Not
know?
that our intention is to be superficial with that. Like we would definitely
No.
want to have the more of an impact than just the branding. But
Yeah.
Which is why I think like the whole concept of Goddessa in and of itself, or what it is that we do, is so much more than, like we were saying, than just the finished product. Like going through the processes is where I guess we get to see who it is that is meant to be Goddessa. You know,
Right.
because then that's also the personal. That's also the personal side of things.
It's from the inside.
It is from the inside.
And both of us, like what we do for a living, like our day jobs, other than putting these shows on, is that personal work side of things. It's the self-development. Shar through yogi dance and her yoga classes and twerk and her sacred
Essential.
body confidence program. It's all about mindful eating and, rewiring the whole.
Repatterning brain, understanding how to essentially shifting your relationship with food and shifting your relationship with your body, which
It's all about
huge.
control. It's about what you can control, right? So like the main temptations, or what are the main temptations? Sex, food, alcohol, drugs, right? If you can control,
Control.
if you can control these in terms of like, does it control you or do you control it?
absolutely, or
'Cause it's-
shifting out of the mindset of having to necessarily control.
Are
But-
these like Ayurvedic practices?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm not going to claim it to be Ayurvedic. This is all based on my journey, what I've encountered. I did a fitness competition a few years back. And the reason why I did that fitness competition was because of the fact that I had a seriously bad breakup, and was like, okay,
You were
I was at a I was like at a crossroads.
buddy.
Revenge buddy, like, oh, you want to fuck you. Look how hot I get you.
But I was truly at a crossroads in which I asked myself, I'm like, okay, my body knows the state of depression well. It's done it before. I'm like, or there's something else. I don't know that road over here. I know this road because I've taken this road
Like your
before.
physical body?
Yeah.
You'll be like, I know
well,
I'm
your
getting
body
depressed when this
is-
looks like this. Or does it?
Depression, all the things that you do is a physically represented in the body. If I'm depressed, body language says everything.
Oh, for
says
sure.
everything.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then your body is a reflection of your subconscious brain. So anything that's actually going on is going to somehow translate into your body. So
Yep.
like I said, my body knew the state of depression very well. It's done it before. And so I recognize, though, it doesn't quite know that way. And I don't know where that way leads to. I don't even know what necessarily that way is. But this is just like a conversation I was having with myself. I'm like, okay, so what do I want? I'm like, well, I know where that door leads to, so let's try this door. I didn't even know necessarily what I was going to do. But it was just so happened that I saw like, oh, there's like bikini competition happening 3 months later. Okay, well, I want to learn about my body. I've been training and doing things since I was like 12 years old because I've been so different traumatic situations, but like so into it. And I'm like, I'm going to be my own trainer. I'm going to be my own coach. I'm going to do all these sort of things because I'm going to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And then I did. Not like I didn't win. I mean, I looked great. And then I was noticing all of the psychological patterns that happened behind it. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? And then I started noticing like other bikini competitors, how is it that they can even win the fucking competition? And within 6 months to a year down the line, they are double the weight that they were before.
A lot of times they take clenbuterol,
There's
which
so
really
many
For
fucks the
things
body
that,
up.
yeah, there's
There's so
you're,
many things.
And then the depression kicks in heavy
Absolutely.
because they fucked up up the system completely.
Your
Well, yeah.
metabolism gets screwed up. That happened to a friend of mine.
There's so many things
Yeah, and she
that
can't
happen.
come down. She gained like 40 pounds and
There's
stuck there.
so many things that happen in that process, but I refuse to have a trainer. So that was part of the journey of me learning that.
Sometimes it's a bad trainer who's cheating. It's a cheating.
yeah.
He's just like, oh yeah, you want to be ready for the
Yeah,
show?
eat no carbs, eat no fats.
And here's some
Like, what the fuck
combuterol.
is my
Like
body
I'm just
supposed
like,
to function off of?
here's
What
some
do you
fucking
mean?
combuterol too. Take this drug and this and
Yeah.
that, and you'll be ripped. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and you look ripped, and you're like, oh, my
Absolutely.
trainer's fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
But
So
then
then
he
our-
just totally fucks up.
And then
all
our
your
brain has
system.
an attachment to our sense of value because we look a particular way.
Yeah.
So those are the constructs that I started to break down within my own self, and then seeing how that repeats in other people's, and then just looking at, you know, different like belief repatterning by Suze Casey. You know, that certainly had an impact, and that is also reflected into my work and the way in which I carry out the psychological things behind my clients. But yeah, that's how my Sacred Body Confidence intuitive eating program came to be. And that's the personal work, because it's so much more than just controlling portion control. Yeah,
well,
sure.
no, like I meant to say, like,
Yeah.
I know I don't know about him, but even for myself, like,
Yeah.
I went on like long fast to see, okay, you
Yeah.
know what? You want to eat?
Yeah.
Fuck you can't eat.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I didn't eat for 10 days.
Yeah.
You know, you go 10 days, you don't eat anything. And you're
I
just
know.
like,
It's
and you
crazy.
go through some crazy psychological stuff.
I
You're
know.
like,
I've
yo,
done
my
that.
body, I'm like, I haven't eaten for,
Right?
like, you did 5 days. You did 5 days. I did.
Yeah.
After he did his 5, I'm like, I could do
5 more. I know. Once you get
Just like-
past the 3-4 days,
It's the first day was the hardest.
of course.
So day one, getting all the sugar out of your system,
Yeah.
all my brain, it's a mental block because your brain goes, hey, are we gonna go eat? Are we gonna go eat? We should go eat something. We're eating. No, we're not hungry. Why are we not eating? What's
Oh,
going
yeah.
on? And you're like, shut the fuck up. I'm just like, your brain keeps, and then once you get past that, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm like, all right, we're not gonna eat anything.
once you start to be the master.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you're like, all right, I guess we're not gonna eat, and then you're
Yeah.
just like, whoa, I don't actually feel
crazy.
hungry. I'm
The
actually
whole
pretty good.
process.
And then,
Yeah,
but
and
then I
that's-
started to notice like my senses were starting to increase because I was like, it's like when your
Yeah,
body
you're
thinks it's
more- a
starving,
little
it's
bit
like it's
more
got to be
survival
ready.
mode.
Yeah.
It's
But
true.
then I had to stop because I was starting to lose circulation. And I was like, oh, that means everything's going, keeping my organs alive. That my legs and my legs and my hands are starting to go now. I'm just like, this can't be good. I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm gonna probably have a meal right now. I'm like,
Probably eat.
I'm like, I might lose this battle.
Yeah,
in the long term.
Yeah, right. Fuck you, buddy. Buddy's like, but I'm trying to be here with you. Yeah.
Let's work together. Come on.
You know, exactly.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I'm trying to get the work together thing. Yeah.
But it's
so.
like, you know, it's an example of the type of personal work that all of the women do. Some are massage therapists.
Yeah.
Some are Reiki practitioners. Some are nutritionists. You know, you name it. Like aromatherapy coaches.
Absolutely.
And psychologists and interior decorators and, you know, all of, anyways, like a ton of different ways in which to better the self and better one another. I teach voice, I do vocal empowerment, and, you know, I work with people on many levels, much like Shar does in her dance. Like she always says, expression over perfection. I think it's a perfect motto that absolutely applies to what I do too, because it's, you know, I grew up taking Royal Conservatory piano, violin up to grade 10, and you know, was in children's choirs and like all the very technical regimented music kind of stuff, and it really like wipes out your creative brain, you know, like it's so, of course there's merit to all of that,
Of course.
Like
and
the
the
technical
technical
Yeah.
aspects of
aspects
things,
of it, yeah.
but also
It's very
to-
like you're playing a piano, like there's
Well, I
no
think-
emotion to it, you know. You're
I
just
think you
like,
kind of really know, but then in a sense, so too, the creativity would then be to change the rules, right?
and
like-
be able to break
Royal
them,
Conservatory you
break-
can.
yeah.
What?
Royal Conservatory, it's like very regimented music lessons, or it's like
No, like, but once you learn, it's like once you learn the basic settings, now you can break the rules. But you can't break the rules until you know what the rules are.
Exactly.
So-
yeah,
You know what
kind
I'm
of like
saying?
learning a sport.
You know?
They say in basketball, like you gotta just like play like fundamental, but you can't like be creative if you at least don't know how to dribble a ball fundamentally.
Yeah, or you can't be taking 3 steps unless you know that, that's called traveling. But once you like learn how to get away with it,
Yeah.
you
Once
can
you get to the NBA.
you can kind of sneak it out here and
Something
there.
like that.
You can bounce us.
Totally. I mean, yeah, it serves its purpose, but it becomes so deeply entrenched in so many people that it becomes about, you know, the audience way more and being perfect, that striving for
For
perfection.
perfection.
Yeah.
Then how does this feel inside of my body? Like, is this fulfilling to me? Like, what does it even feel like for me? You know, most people can't even tune into that because they're so checked out of their bodies. They're doing it for
The wrong reasons.
that approval
Yeah.
or that, you know, what are people thinking? And, you know, especially when it comes to the voice is a very vulnerable aspect of self-expression. You know, it's literally like your entire insides coming out. A lot of people have traumatic experiences
Singing.
where they've sung when they're young and they've been told, you
Got
know, to
laughed
shut
at.
up or it doesn't sound good or, you know, this or that. And
Even
people
just public
internalize
speaking
that.
itself, yeah.
And it's, you know, we are human instruments. We're born to sing, we're born to dance. It's our birthright. This is something that Shara and
Yeah.
I both subscribe to, something that we've connected on that's really, you know, a core tenet of what we both do. And you know, part of my life's mission is to give that back to people, to allow people to break down those barriers that they've built up within themselves to access what we're here to do, which is express ourselves, whether that's through singing, whether that's through dancing, whether that's through making music. It's such a healing and, you know.
Is that the soul's, the soul's way of expressing itself? Is really just allowing it to just like take over and just saying, here, you can run the show for a little bit and just give it up to your soul?
I think
Yeah.
deep singers are like that.
Like
Like,
these-
people, you know, when people like tune into singing, you know, when you
Honestly,
watch like,
well, that's exactly it.
those
Just like
people
what
are
you-
tuned in, and you're just like, yo,
Totally tuned in.
that's not the person singing. There's
Totally
an energy
tuned in.
flowing
Well,
through
you
them.
see
They're like
that
an
too.
instrument themselves.
I've
I
seen guys
think-
who have like that autism, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they just sing, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
The guy
Yeah.
can't talk right,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden just the soul takes over.
I think that one of the things that Katya really helped for me to step into and to realize even for myself, even as like how I approach dance, because I wasn't allowed to take dance classes for a long time because of religious things and da-da. So I actually had to go through this like, okay, freestyle movement and then like pick up on, okay, what are the technicalities? Like how do they actually do that turn and stay focused? How do they actually do this and stay focused? So I kind of like went from, with my dancing, my body is like here, 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 here. So like, okay, somehow able to channel it, find some sort of structure, and then now all of this gets to flow in a directional way, just like I was talking about earlier. And Katya really had brought it up to me in one of our vocal sessions that she was guiding me through. You know, because then I was going too much in the wanting to be technical and wanting to be exact and wanting to hit a note and da-da-da-da-da. So then you almost like start singing the song mechanically. And it's just, it feels weird too. You know, it doesn't feel that good. But you're like, but is this supposed to be it? Like, you know, like, is this? You know, and then she's just like, had to stop me. She's like, just like, do me a favor and stop trying to sing right now. Like, just sing. Like, just sing. Don't even care. And I love the fact that she's such a positive reinforcement, because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if that shit sounded good, but she's like, wow, that was so good. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, isn't there something to be said about like there is a phonetic thing what sounds good
Oh,
and
there
what
is.
doesn't sound good.
Oh, there most
So
certainly
you gotta
is.
be
But
like,
I have not, honestly, like, this is why people are like, oh, I love to sing in the shower, but I don't sing elsewhere. Like, I have not been able to, I'd only have glimpses of my voice in times when I was like, you know, just so comfortable around some set of people, and then it all of a sudden came out. And then I would try to emulate that again in a structured way, like trying to get that again, and it wouldn't come out
you
because
can't
I
do it.
wouldn't.
You can't consciously. You
Because
have to,
I didn't
you're in the
let
way. You're
my
getting,
soul just take
you're
over.
in the way. You got to get out of the
Exactly.
way. You have to
Exactly.
get out of the way and just let it do its
Exactly.
thing.
About learning how to get out of our
Exactly,
own way.
get it
Get
out
out
of
of your
way.
own way and just
What
let it
we
do
That's
its thing.
exactly it.
That's what a
So
lot of us do in different ways and different approaches.
Yeah.
She really showed me, like, again, I came from the same way of like, okay, letting my voice be free again. And then as I'm feeling the freedom, feeling the confidence of like where the breath actually is. And then she's giving me the tools to just, okay, now as that's happening, all right, this is, okay, yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that. I can not just hear it, now I can feel that. And it has made all the difference, honestly. Like, yeah, it's one of the things I absolutely love about this whole process. You know, it's just like, okay, as some not necessarily control, but like giving appropriate space or giving a structure for my soul to flow through,
Yeah.
you know, and then just letting her go. Like,
And then learning
just
from
letting
it.
her flow, just letting her go.
Nice.
And then she does. And it's like, boom. You know?
Reclaiming it. Yeah.
It is that process of reclaiming it. Because it feels safe. When you have something like kind of there, you know, you feel safe. Like,
But
okay.
you don't. Yeah, but you
I
don't
can let
grow
go
in
now.
safe.
Yeah.
When you're
Well-
scared of being judged,
Yeah.
you're scared of what, you know, am I hitting this note? Is it perfect? Like,
Yeah.
you're never going to be able to relax enough to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, it's scary when you got like that old
Oh,
piano
yeah.
teacher, old like whatever teacher behind. Cause I took guitar lessons for
Yeah.
a lot of years as well.
Nice.
But there was one of my first guitar teachers' name was Reg. I think he was probably like a Hell's Angel or something like that. Like, he was just like one
Reg,
of those
yeah.
dudes. I don't know about Reg, but I didn't feel
he
scared
was only
around
teaching
him.
the class
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
fix his books.
But you
What?
felt
He
comfortable.
was teaching in one class a week to fix his books.
I have no idea. Oh, for his business, yeah, or something. Yeah, I have no idea. But he was like, I was very like comfortable around him, and it was just kind of like whatever when he was first teaching me. But then
Right?
I went in traditional guitar lessons, and it was like
Such a
you
different
have to
thing.
hold the guitar here. I'm
Yep.
like, I can't even hold it here. Like
Yeah.
I'm used to
Yeah,
this. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
You
You
feel
know,
judged. You feel all those sort of things. Yeah.
yeah, and then I was like,
Yeah.
your fingers aren't on the thing right. I'm like, that's how I do it. Like, I don't know.
But
Yeah.
see, he created a container, just a feeling for you to be able to just feel into yourself.
Yeah.
And that makes all the difference. Like these structures, these systems that are in place are very masculine in its creation, which is very, must be like this, A or B. It's either good or it's not good. But then the question of art is just like, goes back into the beauty is in the eye of the beholder sort of concept. So it's just like
And
totally different.
those things have their place. Those techniques, those
Mm-hmm.
practices can be your allies if you don't
For
let them
sure.
take over.
Yeah,
so
full
that's
on.
why
Yeah.
it's important to
Both.
have both.
But I think specifically with voice, I think there's like a science is what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. Is there like with what vibration like doesn't
Yeah.
resonate with us?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
And seeing if it resonates with you, period. I think that everybody has a voice. Everybody has some sort of body flow and movements. We all have something that is our own. And once it resonates with us, then it will resonate with others.
And same with dancing.
Same, exactly. No
That's-
matter what it be.
With me too, it's been so healing working with Shar for my dancing because I was just free flow dancing all the time, but I began to get very insecure in my late 20s for a variety of reasons and just restricted myself so much. And something that she said in one of her classes was, if it feels good in your body and you're enjoying what you're doing genuinely, other people are going to enjoy it as well. And like that, along with many other of her principles that she teaches, it really shifted something for me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
there's,
really
there's an
about
energy in that.
how-
You have to love what you do.
Yeah.
And to feel it
To actually
and
feel it,
enjoy
yeah.
it
Yeah.
within yourself. And you can work and you can fine tune it all you fucking want after that point, but like
If you're
to
not
feed
enjoying
yourself first as opposed to just
Yeah, and you won't burn out
Giving it
that
all
way.
away.
Absolutely. Because then you're tapping into something else completely. I can dance for
Forever.
hours.
Forever. Yeah.
Hours. I don't know. I can't exercise and anything else for hours, but for dance, I will be dancing for hours and hours and hours. When I'm in my flow and I'm in my soul, ain't nothing stopping me.
Yeah, and you're not doing accounting for hours.
Not at all.
No.
Not I mean, when it
maybe
comes
some
to tax
weird guy out
season.
there, right?
They're
Yeah.
doing
You'll
accounting
see
for
them.
8 hours a
People are
day.
very
Come on.
passionate about
Yeah,
math.
But they
true.
don't love it. They're not
It's
like.
true.
they're like,
There's
people-
some people who genuinely
Dude,
love
some
that
people
shit. Don't
do.
even get it twisted.
know-
Everybody has their role here on
do.
planet Earth.
Look at what's his name? Lit. What's that
yeah.
guy's that Lit from Suits? That guy loves his account.
We ever seen Beautiful Mind, man? Just saying.
Numbers. Everything.
Yeah, that's not accounting though. He was like solving the world's
I'm
problems.
just
or
messing
some
with you.
shit.
I'm fucking with you. But
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you were
No.
to be doing accounting for 14 hours a day,
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Fuck this number and
Yeah.
fuck this balance sheet."
Yeah.
But dancing is like, it doesn't feel like it's work. Yeah,
'cause
that's
the only
really
time,
cool.
only time people actually really enjoy watching a performance or a dance and
Someone's
almost
actually there,
is
like, in it.
when someone's actually in it, exactly, and when almost the dancer forgets that you're even watching.
and it's even a show. They're
Yeah.
doing it. They're just
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
And that's what I have my
crazy
best
to get
times when I
lost
just
in
almost
that.
forget. Not even that I'm dancing, but just like I'll still connect with the audience, but in this like way of just like I'm inviting you in my story. And you
Yeah,
get the
that's like
pleasure
when
of
you're just
being
more
in it.
attached. Like there's the whole thing about being a performer is like you're more attached with the physical, and so like you're just much more attached with the physical environment. You're more in tune with
Yeah.
your body. You understand more things a little bit better,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to someone who's more of like emotionally, they're more in tune with the emotional side of everything, but their physical is not 100%.
Yeah, it's a bit
There.
of both, right? Yeah.
So they gotta really pay attention and figure that shit out. But people who are physical or like they get lost in it and they just like butterflies just flow. You know, so it's cool to
Also
watch.
tuning into that energy behind the physical.
Yeah.
And the health benefits of singing and dancing are like
Yeah.
the list is massive. It's
The
and
release.
on every level. It's so good for us.
That's like.
Why would we deny ourselves
Yeah.
that? Whether we consider ourselves
Crazy.
a good singer or a good dancer or not, why would we deny ourselves that degree of well-being?
What are the health-
wholeness as a human being?
What are the health benefits of singing and dance?
Lower blood pressure, like you're using your breath, right? You're
Actually breathing.
You're breathing. You're slowing your heart
And
rate, your
many
cardiovascular
diseases come because
system.
because of the fact that people are not breathing.
You're not breathing deep
I've
enough.
taught workshops. Most of the things that I teach is literally, and even with Katya, how to breathe. And
Yeah, we
one
have
of the
shallow
things
breathing.
she tells me every time, and it has made a difference in my performance every time. And actually, when the work's gala, and I finally actually did a full set of singing and vocals, this is what she's like, feel into your feet. Feel as though you're breathing from your feet. And I'm like, right. Because when we get scared, what are the telltale signs of our nervous system kicking out into survival mode? Breathing in the chest.
Trying
and
to
so,
increase your heart rate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pump your
We actually
adrenaline.
have 3 diaphragms in our body. We have a diaphragm in our pelvic bowl, all the way down there. That's actually a diaphragm, our thoracic diaphragm. And one up here, this is your emergency. Sorry. This is your emergency diaphragm, and most of us are breathing up here.
Yeah. Have you? You probably don't know who Yo Elliott is, do you?
No.
He's a YouTube guy, but he's like on the opposite. He's like all masculine type stuff, like how he like.
Yo
dudes-
Elliott?
Yo Elliott. He's like Yo Elliott. Anyways, that's his YouTube thing. Anyways,
Is he like a big guy?
he's a big yeah. He's like a big yeah.
Curly?
Kind of yeah.
Half-
You know who I'm
I
talking
know who he
about.
is. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
I don't
anyways.
know that shit.
He's like a powerlift, holistic type
Yes,
guy.
I know
but
exactly who he is. I
he-
just haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. I don't know if he makes much content anymore. But anyways, for guys, he's like breathing from your balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like that's what he calls it. Yeah.
And
That
that's
just took a deep turn. Where the fuck did that come from? The fuck did that?
Breathing
I'm
from
like,
your
you thought you were gonna
balls.
talk about deep breathing from your feet and then the breathe from your balls.
Well, I tell him it's a breathe from the room space, so I guess it's the same.
That's what he says, Ziggy. He says all of us like shallow breathe, and he's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you gotta be
it's
breathing
true.
from your balls, boys. Like,
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
help to eliminate most of the disease in this world, anyways.
well, I think
that in
so
itself.
actually. Yeah. Do you know
Honestly.
Wim Hof?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Wim
So
Hof.
yeah, I don't even need to explain
I
it.
trained with the Wim Hof in Vancouver for a day. It was great.
Oh,
He
you did?
loved
Hey,
me.
dope. Yeah. So I don't
He
even need
loves
to
it.
explain it.
Yeah.
Tell them the
Wim Hof
story
breath
of,
work.
what was that? Halcyon. Tell them the Halcyon story.
I don't know the healthy.
Yeah,
It was
that's good.
wild. Okay, yeah, I could tell it. I don't know. Me and Russ went on a yoga retreat in like December. Was that?
Awesome.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Nice.
in December, and it was like 3 or 4 day retreat in the hot springs in like the mountains in BC. It was really good. That's Cole Williston, Yoga by Cole. For those of you that are watching,
Yeah.
check him out. Google him. Yeah, Yoga by Cole. Anyways, Cole Williston. He's a dope dude. Good friend of mine. Real chill. He reminds me of Mike Posner.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
walking across the U.S. right now and
Yeah.
went like completely hippie on it. Yeah, but anyways, he's dope. Anyways, we're at this yoga retreat, we're chilling, and for some odd reason, I meet this other guy named Adam. Shout out to Adam. We connected about the Wim Hof stuff, and he's like, you know what? Fuck it, Cam. You want to just Wim Hof tonight and go into the lake?
Right?
And the lake was frozen. It was like frozen water. It was like ice water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? And we got on the subject of cold showers, and I've been taking cold showers for like 2 years. I went a year without taking a hot shower. It was insane. Every day it was just cold shower, and I started to like them.
Wow.
And I did Wim Hof, and I could like Wim Hof and do
Yes.
like 20 push-ups without no breath. It was wild. But anyways,
Good for you. That is.
it was wild.
shit.
Yeah. So Adam's like, yo, you want to do the Wim Hof? And then we both got kind of nervous, and we're like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And then another random guy shows up, another guy, Adam. He comes, and then there's the 3 of us, but I led the whole Wim Hof thing, and I led it for everybody, so we did 20 minutes of it. But then when we went into the water, it was a crazy experience for me, because it was a deep Wim Hof. Like, it was pretty powerful. My whole body was like vibrating. Like
Before you got in?
Before I got in, yeah. It was nuts. And then I get into the water, and I sink my head down, and I just go into like complete like pitch black darkness. And it was like the scariest feeling of my life. And I was like just there holding my breath, and it was like I couldn't see anything. It felt like and for the longest time I've had this dream where I've been floating in space, and I'm just floating there. And there's a shark, and there's just this shark, and we're just both floating.
Shut up.
Yeah, and anyways, I was in this water, and it felt just like that. And I opened my eyes, it was pitch black, and it was just like me floating. And it was pretty wild. But then I get out of the water, and I just started crying. And then it was like the weirdest
Really?
experience after.
Such a release.
Yeah, it was weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a while. Anyways,
That's incredible.
That is so incredible.
Yeah, he filmed the whole thing.
Oh, did you?
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a weird, like
That's-
life-changing experience. And then
Of
I
course.
just,
It's like death and rebirth for him.
Wow.
yeah, I felt
Totally.
like I had
For sure.
died, and then I got born again. It was like the weirdest situation.
That's powerful.
That is powerful. Oh my god.
Yeah, those breathwork classes are a little wild.
You're like, yeah, that was kind of wild for me. I know.
Yeah.
No,
they're
I've
wild,
experienced them too. I'm
Have
just
you?
like, yeah, and it's like, I remember when I came out of mine, I was like, what the fuck was that? And like, you're right, you just break down, you're crying, you're like, what the
Of
fuck was
course.
that? I'm just like, that was
You're
the weirdest
releasing
thing.
so much.
Oh yeah, it was a heart release for me.
Yeah.
What I felt was a heart release. So like, I guess I had a blockage in my heart, and And then after I came out of there, it was like this pain. It was like all this pain that came right into your chest, and then it just like release it, and it's just like, phew, and then you're like, and it was like, yeah, it was wild. It was just like that was
Isn't
heavy.
Beautiful though.
Yeah, somewhat.
But yeah, of course. All that
Good
means
work,
is like,
yeah.
that whatever you get to release, that means that shit was in your body the whole time. That was just living inside you.
Oh yeah, those things.
Like-
Yeah,
were-
something got
Living in-
released. when
yeah.
I did
something
Of
was
course.
something was inside me that shouldn't
Of
have been there,
course.
and I had to get it out.
Like scientifically, there's a difference between tears you cry from cutting an onion and tears you cry from emotions. You are
serious,
actually,
There's
yeah,
science behind
there's an
that?
actual difference between the two.
Wild, like
And you're actually crying out emotions. So when sometimes this is why, like, if you need to feel the need to cry, if there's something that, and you need to let it out, let it the fuck out. Because that's something, trauma, yoga classes, issues are in your tissues. It's for real stuff. Like, your body is a map of all of your experiences, of everything of what you've lived, because that is what's all inside your subconscious brain. So you're just
your
reliving
paradigm.
it through your body. And it'll hold on to things because it's just like, okay, just like your body's so amazing. It's so fantastic. It's just like, hey, you have all these toxins in your body floating around. Guess what? To make sure that your organs don't get too much of an impact, we're going to put it somewhere safe. Going to go into your joint. Going to go into your muscles. So people got tight asses, literally, tight hips, because there's an accumulation of all these toxins, of all these negative belief patterns, of all these traumas that are attached to these sort of toxins, these thought patterns and blah, 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 that are just locked into certain places. And then we call it, oh my God, my hip's bust, like, oh, I got a bust hip. It's just been getting worse as I got older. Yeah, because you haven't released that shit. The shit's still sitting in there, and it continues to sit in there.
Do you think males and females hold that in different places? Do women hold it in their hips and men hold it somewhere else?
I don't want to ever say men and women per
Why
se,
not?
because it's such a generalization though. That is such a generalization. Like the way in which, I grew up around brothers, so a lot of the things that I have, I can be very masculine at times in certain ways and things that I do.
There's certain
just
environments,
because
but
in
like,
certain environments,
physiology, we're completely different, right?
Like, where does the pain, like, is that more typically a female thing to hold pain in hips? Because I've known a few women
Yes.
who've had the hip pain
Yes, it is.
for no reason. Like, I haven't hurt my hip
Absolutely.
or anything, right?
Absolutely.
And when
100%.
in a blanket statement,
men tend
then
to be a lot more shoulders.
it's tight in the shoulders. They're all
Yeah.
like this, right?
Yeah, men are
Yeah,
shoulders, women
that's-
are more hips. It's
That's
true.
crazy.
It's true. And again, but it's just, it is funny, but for me, it's just like, well, why men tend to have this responsibility or this belief, and that has been put upon them, because just as much as women have been told what to do, men have also been told what to do, to carry the weight of the family. So you hold the entire weight of the world on your shoulders.
And that's why they have tight shoulders.
That's most of the times what the fuck happens, honestly.
That's
it's
what it
funny,
is.
but
Yeah, they're
it's
stressed out in their
literally,
shoulders.
yeah. You do this, your body's constantly.
And you're always cunning. You're always
yeah,
tense,
constantly
like, fuck,
doing
I
this,
don't know what to do.
constantly doing
Yeah, let's
this.
go. I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. I wonder why my shoulders are fucking sore all the time. I don't know. Do you guys want to hear something really crazy? I've been reading a lot of book, and this is interesting, and it's kind of one of those messed up things that that nature kind of fucks us over with, right? So whenever, like, the way men and females deal with stress is completely different, right? So when females experience stress, what ends up happening is your cortisone levels kick in.
Yeah.
And when the cortisone
Totally.
levels kick in, the oxytocin levels get blocked. And so naturally what ends up happening is you go, fuck off,
Yeah.
leave me alone, don't touch me, stay away from me. But they're
Totally.
like, you're just like rejecting everyone, don't talk to
Totally.
me, just stay away from me, just let me figure this shit out, leave me alone. When men get stressed out, when they get overstressed, they need a release. And so all they want to do is have sex. So I'm fucking stressed. I'm like, son, just give me some, So they want to release.
That's actually
so
so
there's this
interesting.
interesting,
Yeah.
there's
I
this
don't-
interesting
I actually
dynamic.
Or they
totally
want a
believe-
companion. They want love.
They need someone. They need some reassurance, right? So like,
Even
That
a
is
hug,
so
a hug.
true.
it's so interesting. So like,
That's
what
so
ends up
true.
happening is like, that's why
Both of you
couples get so
stressed out,
when
yeah.
two people are stressed out, one
Don't
just wants to have
touch me. I was
sex. He's
like-
like, stay away from me, and be like, I just
yeah.
need a little sex, and be like,
That
fuck
makes
you, I'm
perfect
stressed
sense.
out.
Now
Yeah.
you just solved my
How many
how many
problems does
relationships?
that
Fuck, I didn't know this
So
before.
I learned this stuff, and the way to fix it,
Just get him a doll. Just
no, the way to fix it
You seen
is
those sex
just like,
robots?
especially, it's just a long hug.
I know.
20-second plus hug actually releases oxytocin into the body. So when you find someone and you just hold them, don't say anything, you just hold each other for like you say, hold space for 20 seconds, your body will then release the oxytocin and it'll kick in.
Wow.
And that's how you fight it off. Like, but most people are just like,
Yeah,
fuck you,
don't touch me.
I
It's
don't
true.
want to do it. I don't. And I think it's most scary because you almost feel like you don't want to cry. You know, when you get really stressed out, you're on the brink
Vulnerable.
of crying and you're feeling
Yeah.
vulnerable. You're just like, leave me
Yeah.
alone. I don't want to be around anyone.
I don't
'cause
want to
you
be seen as not strong.
I don't want to be weak, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to feel weak.
Maybe they won't love me.
Yeah, but then that's like, but yeah, it's like it's so weird how like
That's
we're
so
so opposite
interesting.
that we like that. I'm just like that's interesting. Like I was reading a psychology book about this, and it was written by a woman, and she was explaining all of this shit. And I was like, oh, this
Wow.
makes so much more sense. This is so interesting.
Exactly.
Yes.
Whether it even be a physical process or an internal process, like, or both simultaneously happening, there always has to be some sort of process that helps to reaffirm not only your appreciation of it, but your sense of worthiness of it. And that's big because that's what we're always searching for, is a sense of worthiness, feeling enough. Like, am I worthy enough to have this? On some level, we all know that we can have almost anything that we want.
We can.
You're
We can
talking
have
about
whatever.
belief. A lot of people don't have
We all
belief in
can,
themselves.
absolutely.
Yeah.
On some level, all of us know this, but there's the level of, but am I worthy of that? Why should I have that? You know, and
Am I willing to go
Am
through
I-
the process to
oh,
get it? That's the
a
thing
huge
too.
thing. Am
I
I
have
willing
that too.
to
Like
go
I
through
used,
the
I have
process?
the
Huge.
ability. I've had the ability to have foresight, and a lot of times I would go right to the end on how to do something, and I would think about everything that needs to be done from here to there to get it done, and then I go, yeah, I don't
No.
really want it. I go, I don't really want it. I don't really want to go through all that. I'm just to get there at the end. Is it really worth that? Am I
Absolutely.
going to enjoy that process?
Yeah.
No, let's not go down that road.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And that's what
So-
actually stops a lot of people from achieving their dreams.
Yeah.
'cause
And
they
the
think
fact that
about
they
all
don't
the
know how to
things.
program either.
That's
Yeah.
exactly why. You're totally
Totally.
right.
Which
Oh, it stops people every day.
Yeah.
Every
They don't want to
single
go
day.
through the process or do the work.
No,
They just
And
want
they
the end result.
exactly.
That-
they forget about
that-
the joy that can be created in the process.
In the process.
that and the choice of making the decision.
Yeah.
Like I remember this is just something that I dealt with when I was younger, is that we spend so much time trying to decide what to do that we end up doing nothing.
Nothing.
And I'm just like, just do something.
Paralyzed.
And then
Yeah,
like you
power of just
I'm just
making
like,
a
'cause
choice.
you don't want to make a
Too many
commitment.
choices.
You don't want to make a commitment
No.
to something because you're like, oh, I don't want to commit. I'm just like, you're not bound
Yeah.
to anything. Like
Yeah.
you can choose, you can change your path at any time. So if
Absolutely.
like, you know, like if this draws you, go do that. If this draws you, go do this. You know, one of the biggest things that I've learned in my life is that like we only have control over the choice that we make at the time that it's presented to us. It's the only thing we have at the time,
At the
that,
time
it's
that it's
presented,
presented to
and it
us.
usually comes with a temptation.
Yeah.
Always comes with temptation. So your choice pops up, and then something else comes in right next to it and going, but what about this? And you're like, fuck, you
Yeah.
know? And,
Yeah.
and most people go for the low-bearing fruit because it's easier. They don't want to go the long distance. They
It's
don't want
true.
to do the long distance run.
It's true.
So
That's why
yeah,
I don't like to give myself too many options.
too many options.
When it comes to my life, I'm just like, you know, too many times I hear like, oh, you know, well, prepare for plan B, you know, make plan B. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to step on anybody's choice of creating plan B for themselves first and foremost. But I started on that route and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, you mean plan B?
I'm like,
When
it
do
ends
I
up-
have time for plan A then if I'm so busy making plan B?
Then all of a sudden you end
And
up
then you
doing
get
plan B.
wrapped up in this and you know, you're constantly making a choice between the two. And I'm like, wait a minute, who am I actually choosing in these moments? I'm actually choosing the me that I desire to become, the me that I actually see myself in all these visions, or am I choosing some sort of safety net? And I truly believe in the power of making a choice. Once you've decided, like, this is what it's gonna be, like, this is what's happening. I don't necessarily know the how. I don't have to know the how because I'm not the sole creator of my life. I'm the co-creator of my life. I firmly believe in the magical workings of the universe bringing us together. So many things will happen all in perfect timing and all in perfect alignment, but I have to be consciously in my decision, standing firmly. If I stand for nothing, I'll fall for anything.
Fall
like,
for everything, yeah.
hello, stand for something. And then when you know better, you'll do better. I'll make a better choice. But there's no way that I cannot make a decision in my path because everything is always a process of clarity. If I was going in one direction thinking that's what I wanted, Like in one relationship, you think it's all the end all be all, but then it actually helps to refine you. It helps to show you things you want and what you don't want. And then the relationship ends and you think like, fuck, I shouldn't have gone through that relationship. Sure as fuck you should have.
You had to, yeah.
Sure as fuck you should have, because when the perfect person shows up,
You'll
when the
know
person that you need to know yourself enough to be able to appreciate that shit.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have appreciated if it showed up first thing out your door. You probably wouldn't even recognize it.
Yeah.
So,
Lessons.
That's
Make
why they
a
always. That's
decision.
why they always say it's never
Wild.
the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
It's the light at your feet.
Trust me.
It's always the light at your feet,
Trust
not
me.
at the light at the end
Trust
of the
me.
tunnel.
That
Right.
tunnel's always going to be a long
Well, it's
way.
so far away, but you might not know where the end of the tunnel is, but
Exactly.
you can see your next step, and then I'm like, okay, well, there's my next step.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take the next one.
Where
Okay,
am I
let me take the
intending?
next one.
Where am I intending?
Yeah,
Where am I intending?
and even then, you don't know
Intention,
because
that's
you're
a
just
big one.
looking.
Intention,
You're just
intention.
you're just looking around and go, oh,
You know what I mean? If
I'm
I
at a
tell you to
crossroad.
go from this corner to that corner in a straight line, but make sure you get to that corner and shit goes in front of you, you're going to go around it. You're going to figure your way around it so you get to that corner. If you just say walk in a straight line from this corner, boom. Okay, there's something in front of you, boom. This is the problem with so many of us. No fucking direction.
Yeah.
Shit. Next thing you know, I end up at that corner. You're like, fuck. Intention.
Intention.
Make a
that's what it
decision.
is,
Where
yeah.
are you going?
Yeah,
Cool. You don't necessarily know all the ins and outs of what is there, but I know that's where I'm going.
That's very powerful. There's a lot of people that don't do that. I'd say the majority of people don't do that. No clue exactly where they want to go. And when it's not going their way or how they perceive themselves to get there, they explode and totally cave in on themselves.
Trust me.
Yeah. If you know where you're going, the how doesn't matter. It's just kind of, you could end up in
works.
something totally, you could like want to be a professional basketball player, a professional athlete, and then you end up being like the world's best like fighter pilot.
Right?
It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And you still
Right.
have, it's not like the job you wanted, it was the feeling of the
The
job you had.
That feeling.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
That's
Down
all
the
we
field.
want.
yeah,
that's all
so
we want.
That's all
professional.
we
He wanted, you're a star athlete, what do you get? Notoriety, people like you, da 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 da. You're a professional like fighter jet
Fighter pilot,
pilot
yeah,
and you
same
like
thing.
saved a bunch of people, you get notoriety, people respect you. Yeah, that's the
You want
feeling.
the feeling.
Yeah, not exactly the
You
thing.
want the feeling.
that's a
your
Tony.
destination.
That's an Anthony Robbins thing too. Like he's just like people don't want money; they want what money.
Healing.
The money, what money
That's
can
not
bring
an
them.
Anthony Robbins thing. That goes way back.
Everything. Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's in
That's in
everything.
Yeah.
The second money was invented, that's where it came from.
That's
Yeah, it's the
Law of
feeling.
attraction
Hey, did you
thing.
hear this thing about like? I think Joe Rogan was talking about this, where they introduced money to a bunch of chimps, and they started like realizing that they could get things for it, and so they started giving it to the girls to be with them. Did
Shut
you ever?
up.
I'm serious that the monkeys
Shut
figured it
up.
out.
Human girls?
Yeah.
Shut
No,
up.
like
so
the
they're
monkeys.
female monkeys.
The
They're
female
like,
monkeys.
here, baby, have this.
Yeah,
Thank
they,
you.
They started. They
Monkeys
gave
know
them.
exactly
They
what
gave.
to do.
They gave them stones, and they taught them
Oh,
that
yeah.
they could trade the
Oh, yeah.
stones for money,
Smart.
and then they started giving it to the girls
I
for
love
sex.
that. I love that. I love that.
I was
Monkeys
just
know
like,
where the
what?
true power is.
Like I heard that on Rogan, and I was
so
just
funny.
like,
Monkeys are smart.
Really?
They are.
Leah showed me a video of a monkey that had learned sign language, and this gorilla Coco was
Coco,
about to
yeah.
die, and it's like talking about humanity and how it's sad for humanity.
Oh, it was so sad. I remember that.
And it's like so wise,
serious?
and it's so deep, and it's, you know, how humans are hurting the earth, and like I cried. Like
God.
these monkeys are so smart.
That's
kind
crazy.
of a
yeah.
detour
They
in
do
the
some. They also
conversation.
done those other experiences on the monkey where they basically give the monkeys has to put this rock into the thing, and then it gets food, and it gives it food, and then he got like a like whatever, he got like a normal piece of nuts or whatever, and he ate that, and then the other monkey did it, and he gave him a fruit. And the guy's like, oh shit. And so he put the thing on there, and then he gave him the stone again. I think he gave him a stone instead of food, and he goes, and the other guy did it, and he got a fruit, and so the guy took it, and he started throwing it, and he had a, but I perfectly, at the beginning, he was perfectly fine accepting what he got for the amount of
Till he
payment that
saw
he did,
somebody else.
until he saw that someone else was getting more for the same amount of work, and he was like, wait a minute, I want the fruit. And he lost his shit.
That's so funny.
I was just like, that's awesome.
It's so true.
You know, it's just
so
like, what the hell?
reflective of humans.
Yeah,
In
He'd
so
be like,
many
I want the
ways.
same shit. What the hell?
I love that.
But yeah, he was like, yeah, it's one of those crazy little experiences. And it's funny to watch because he fucking shakes the cage.
Aw.
They're so smart.
I know.
Well, he just like saw it. He goes, wait a minute, what the fuck?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They can see what we're
crazy.
doing to the earth,
Yeah.
but you know.
Humanity has to make some shifts.
Yeah.
Some big
It's
ones.
happening though.
It is.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are starting to wake up. There's a lot of weird stuff happening in the world right now, where
A
like
lot of things bubbling to the surface.
there's a lot of bubbling to the surface, and there's like this weird separation. But like as shit gets darker, the light's starting to pop up a little bit more because it's always in perpetual balance, right? Like
Always.
in the fact that we live in duality, it's everything's in balance. It's always a yin and a yang. It's always set up that way. Like, you know, even when you have like a mass group of like you know, dark people, you know, you'll have like one or two really light people that really can balance that whole side out, and the same thing on the other side. You know, you have a lot of people, light people, there's always one or two bad eggs
That's
that
true.
ruin it for everybody.
It's true.
So there's always this perpetual balance. It's always in flow, and it's always in movement, and it's always shifting. It's always going back and forth, and it's moving around.
Yeah.
But like you're starting to notice that it's coming more into fruition, where there's like the stakes are getting a little bit higher and higher and higher. You're like, we're moving away from this gray area where everything is kind of in shadow to like black and white. And you're like, now people are starting to pick sides, and you're being like, okay, this is, we got to go this direction, we got to go this direction.
Yeah.
And it's getting really, really evil and getting very, very bright.
And you have like Lil Dicky and his crew of like 20 like A-list celebrities like Ariana Grande making music videos of like cartoons about like saving the planet. Go check out our website how you can help the oceans.
Which is
people
cute.
using their, you know, celebrity power for those types of things, which is cool.
It's cute. It's necessary.
Like in LA,
It's
there's some weird
necessary.
shit happening in LA.
Yeah.
Like you can see it in the shows that are coming out of Hollywood. Like a lot of the shows that are coming out of Hollywood are really, really dark. Really dark. And you're just like, what is going on in Hollywood that everyone is
crumbling.
so dark?
It is.
A lot of it's
Well, I think a lot of
crumbling.
them are basically they went through the ringers. Like I know, like you watch Katy Perry. I'm like, Katy Perry went through the ringer.
Absolutely.
I'm like, holy smokes.
Eminem.
Ugh.
What's that? I'm just like, have you
Yo,
ever
he
been to
did, yeah.
Have you ever went to a Katy Perry concert?
No, I haven't.
That was the darkest thing I've ever seen in my
I
life.
felt like that at Ariana Grande too.
Well, she's also said that she's been basically. You have to remember when they pull them in at
It
a
was
young age,
soulless.
right?
Yeah.
They pull them in at a young age when they start to inject their soul, because they put them up as a seductress.
Yes.
So the female
A
becomes
sex
a
kitten.
seductress, a sex kitten,
Yep.
and
Programming.
and that's programmed, and they use
Exactly.
it. And then that industry, they have the programming down so
To a
the
T.
neuroscience, the neuropsychology,
Absolutely.
and that is so precise, and it's so dark, and it's so controlling. Like, I was able to see it from an outsider because I'm not a Katy Perry fan.
Yeah.
But when I was in there, I was watching mass fucking control on a mass level. I was just like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're watching this thing. I'm just like, this is the
Nuts.
craziest. Not the way that they're playing neural association, and the way that
Everything.
the
And
way that they're
primal
playing
desires.
anchoring, the way that they're doing all of these stuff, the messages that they're dropping. I was just like, this is wild. Like it went from, so her concert went from being from hell, like all of these images of hell. So they started it before it even show started. They had all the big screens were like fire, aliens, pyramids, this. They're just blasting you with all of this weird imagery that people were just kind of like, it was like this weird silence where everyone was going, felt uncomfortable.
Wow.
Like everyone felt uncomfortable. Like you could tell
Wow.
because it was just
Triggering to their system.
boom. So everyone's really uncomfortable. And then Katy Perry comes out, and what does everyone do?
Yeah.
So what did they do? They just anchored all of that
Into
shit
your body.
into a
To
fucking
feeling good.
into feeling good. And I was just like, holy shit. So I was so I
That's
was
wild.
so I was
You
watching.
see, got exact opposite.
Yeah.
So this is like what we're talking about with our desire is you know things like sexual energy is such a powerful force. It's such a primal desire that's been used for evil, essentially, like to oppress people,
association.
to oppress, or even, you know, semantics, but essentially
You got to
for
look
a
on
bit
our
of a
side.
darker
You got to look
agenda.
on our side though.
However-
on our side we're cursed with it, right? Because we're lustful by nature, and we have to fucking avoid that. So what happens is when it throws it out in front of us all the time, men become lustful by nature, and it's something we fight consistently
we
all the
It's
day.
distracting though. That's the thing.
It's a
like
distraction.
all these like little Hollywood sex kittens, Britney
Yeah.
Spears, Ariana Grande. You know, they're bred to distract people. In
They distract
a variety
men and
of
women.
ways. Absolutely.
Well, absolutely.
They give
And
women a
it's
bad,
a sexual
bad
energy. It's
thing,
not
and
that-
then
Yeah.
it distracts them
It's not
from
that
being
men
their
are
true
lustful
selves.
or blah,
And not
lustful.
only that,
No,
It's
we're
a distraction.
We're lustful. Men are lustful. We do like we try to avoid it, and we like, oh, don't do that.
Women
Don't
are
look
too,
at that.
trust
we
me.
can't do that.
Trust
we shouldn't be doing that. Like you start to feel all of these negative emotions from it, right?
I think
Because
women
it's
might
like-
actually be worse.
The bottom line is
Women are actually
this is how this
I know they
has
are.
been very calculated
Yeah.
up until this point. People are waking up, and our intention, because our sexual energy is such a huge part of who we are, to use it to, recalibrate ourselves. It's a part of our huge power as a human being.
Yeah.
And to use that for good. And for, instead of women to be objectified and as a sex object, to actually like reclaim that for themselves, and to utilize that as they so desire for good. It's
For whatever
kind of like
beautiful message it is that we want to deliver.
Exactly.
I mean, look at how easily that was just reaffirmed. They put all these images, this association, blah, 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 and then reaffirm it with a beautiful sex kitten in front of you to spark you up.
Well, that's what it is.
It
So
literally lightens up your loins. What do you think happens? Even if a females get
turned on by their girls?
Of course,
Yeah, they do.
Of course we do, because the female
It's
body
2019.
is a beautiful thing.
Well, no, I'm just saying. It's just
Yeah.
It is a
It's
pretty.
true.
It is a beautiful piece of art. Like
I don't-
honestly, construction of regardless, you know what I mean? So like that is a very intentional power, and for so long it has been used in the direction of the desires of the white male patriarchy system. That's
Disempowering
just
the masses in
disempowering.
whatever form.
Disempowering, taking away all your sense of power, just making you quiver, like all of your blood just flow right down to here, and not at all encouraging the process to go right back up, which is actually the Kundalini energy rising. That is the rising of your sexual energy. It's actually the rise of like Christ consciousness going up through. It's the going up
It's
all
what
the
the
way.
Egyptians
Yeah,
talked
that's the
about. The
Egyptians
Ankh,
talked
the
about.
symbol of the Ankh, like all of the Philosopher's Stone, like the secret to immortality, like any of these, cultures over
Absolutely.
time. It's the secret of life,
Yeah.
basically, and that has been taken away. It's power that has been stripped from us intentionally, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to intentionally reclaim this part of ourselves and use it for good,
Yeah.
potentially.
Get your consciousness rising again. We want to tickle your loins. Yeah, good. Beautiful. Get all that energy actually there. That's sacred energy. That is your sacral chakra. That is your sexual energy. That is your life force.
Creative
We
force.
want it. That is your creative force. That is your life force, literally. So we want it to be sparked up. We want it to be lit up. But we don't want it to just stay there and deaden out and let out to the earth and sprayed out, literally, to somehow rise back up again. So get you
in
back
order to
thinking.
do that, you have to have
use
more
it.
control
Elevate.
of it, though.
Yeah.
You need
So
to
then
have
it- so
a
then-
large amount of control.
You have to have
So
a
then
large
that's
amount of
actually
control and have a lot
part
of
of
sexual
teaching
control.
that is us part
It's
of
part
teaching
of
that
what
sort
we
of
teach.
control.
That's
Absolutely.
part of our work and
Yeah.
what we do.
Our last show was triggering to a shit ton of people.
Yeah.
They're like,
Back
oh,
to
yeah,
triggers.
Oh yeah, we got like people like, well, why are you objectifying yourselves now? Da 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 da. And we're just like, dude, to show you that I can do whatever I want with my sexual energy. That is not in your hands.
Yeah.
And for us to now open up this dialogue and this conversation so that you can actually ask me now about my own sexual body, about my experience with my body that you had the pleasure of fucking witnessing when I was up on that stage. Not for you, but you happen to have gotten to witness it.
Yeah.
Now, wow, what are the processes that I go through in order to be able to do that? Ooh, that's a conversation that now allows for this to now rise up into your brain. I don't know, part of
Yeah,
my- part of my
absolutely.
work.
Yeah.
And then, there's also fun things to. We try to enjoy both sides of the just joking.
Yeah.
Sexual
We are
tension.
carnal
Roll.
animals after all. I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Holy shit. Just wild.
Yeah.
we're such,
We work hard and play hard.
We work hard, we play hard, we definitely do the things. It's
We-
so funny, like we don't drink, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Just smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like drinking. Drinking messes you up.
Yeah, man.
But I haven't-
Stresses your energy.
I haven't smoked anything
not good
since
for
they
you.
made it legal.
It's poison.
No?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's literal poison. Really?
Yep. Got rid of everything. Actually, got rid of all of it.
Really?
All of it. It's been a wild journey. It's been a wild
fuck the
year.
popo.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Stop
He flushed it down the toilet.
It's like, what? This shit's legal? Fuck this shit. Man, it took all the fun out
Take
of it.
everything away from me now.
Yeah. I went outside to the balcony. There's this broken little bong there, and it just looked so sad.
I got rid of my vape pen.
Everything was gone. It was the vape pen was stepped on. It was just
the tears down his eyes. They took her too.
yeah. They took her too. Yeah, exactly. Steve's all upset and sad.
That's so funny.
Well, no, it all came down to the distraction. So
That's
I realized
hilarious.
that all that stuff is just a distraction. In order for the whole thing about staying in the present, staying in the moment, allowing to make the choices when the opportunity and the choices arise is to making the right choices. You can't fake that if you're distracted with alcohol, with drugs, with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the whole purpose of that stuff is just to pull you away from making the right choices, and the next thing
I don't think that's the purpose of it. That's not in the slightest.
Which one?
Alcohol and that's not to pull you away from the right choices. You think having a glass of wine pulls someone away from the right
If
making
you
the
have
right
4 or
choice?
5 or 6
That's
and
the
7 of them.
difference, though. You have to.
drinking.
Yeah,
But no, I quit drinking. I have a drink.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not drinking.
No, yeah, and it's
To
true.
get drunk. That's
Yeah.
not the purpose of alcohol. Is not to get drunk, right?
Absolutely.
I have to
Absolutely.
use the washroom.
Oh, that's all good.
I drank.
I drink all the water.
You
Gotta
drank all
pace
the
yourself,
wine.
I don't want
girl.
to break
Pace
the
yourself.
conversation though.
No, I know. This is
Well, I
a great
think
conversation.
right now
It's
we
good,
can
though.
probably like look at wrapping it up and then
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
maybe
probably
just
probably over an hour or something like
we're
that.
like
Yeah.
Yeah,
an hour and a
definitely.
half right now.
Oh, that's
or-
perfect then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works. That works
Perfect.
totally
So
fine.
I think
yeah,
I think
that's
really what we
awesome.
can talk about maybe
Perfect
just
tea
before we
time.
close it off is just maybe you can tell us like either we like to talk about either maybe some of the books you're reading or and how to get a hold of you.
Sure.
You know, like so. Do you guys have any
Or
recommendations?
self-development. Yeah, self-development practices. A couple of them, like maybe
Like
2 or 3
current-
self-development.
Well, I can tell you the couple books that I'm
Yeah.
reading right now. Book number 1, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
I keep seeing that everywhere, man.
And Eastern Body, Western Mind.
Oh, that's a good one.
That sounds
I have
good.
that one beside my bed.
Or is it
too.
Western Mind, Eastern Body?
No, it's Eastern Body, Western Mind. That's such a good one.
It is. It's a great one.
It's like yoga and psychology.
Yeah. And also Dirty Genes. I read a lot of books. Dirty Genes is also another one of them. Learning about the genetics behind our bodies and how we can actually clean up our genetics. It's really cool. Yeah. I love reading all those understandings, philosophicals, but also the science.
Yeah, when they
Because I like
connect science to
science.
things,
Yeah.
that's really dope. When
Huge.
science and that sort of side of things become one, you're like, yo,
Merge.
that's
Oh
actually
my
pretty
God.
dope. Yeah,
It's amazing.
that's what I was talking about. Okay, we'll wrap it up, but just if you have an
Yeah.
answer here. Remember talking about we harbor pain and feelings in different areas, men in their shoulders. Is there a science in that? Like, have they done tests, or is that just?
I'm sure that they have.
I'm sure
Like, is
that
there,
they
like, a
have
control
like,
studies?
in terms of tests, but again, it's just like where it is that we hold our sense of repression, right? Where is it that women have been controlled for so long, or whatever it is that has been consistently depressed upon constantly. It's been in the womb space. It's our sexualities. It's our, we're built to bear children. So what happens? The hips expand, the contract. So there's a lot that goes on here that is supposed to be in our own sense of control, but has not been in our own sense of control for a long time. So then there's an imbalance that occurs there. And then we hold a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, because there's a lot of sexual shame and a lot of guilt that happens to be held in this space. So that I can speak to on, at least for women's bodies. For men bodies, for me, my assumption is the idea of having to bear so much weight.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. I was more sort of saying if there's have they done tests
That's a
on
good
that?
question.
I'm sure
Like,
they
is
have.
there like a scientific study? That'd be
there's
kind of
so
cool to
much-
see.
There's
There's
so much
progressive science out there that's
Ayurvedic.
proving spirituality
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
That's like
I wouldn't be
yogic
surprised.
philosophies from what I speak from. So that's, I don't know if it's necessarily science, that's spiritual science, I guess.
I think
that
he's talking about like
actual
Yeah, like when
doctors.
doctrines are like when that stuff goes together and it's like, hey,
It's
now
coming.
that makes sense.
It's
like what
coming.
Steve was
Or maybe
talking
it's
about the
already there.
oxytocin.
It's probably
and
already
Look it
there.
up.
Greg
Yeah.
Braden is a great person to look at. He talks about the power of the heart space and such. Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of my favorite persons to look at. He's actually very connected to the body.
Joe Dispenza is good, yeah.
He's amazing. Definitely somebody I would look up. He might even actually have some sort of more scientific answer to that. He's very much so about the brain and the neurological patterns and
Yeah.
connections.
Do you know Paul Chek?
No, I don't.
He's really good.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like that. He's kind of
feel
like
like
a
I've
Joe
heard of him.
Dispenza type
Is
guy.
he?
He's a very straight shooter with shit, and I really like it. But he connects science like a lot to do with water, a lot to do with
Yeah.
drinking coffee, a
Yeah.
lot to do with a lot of different things and mental burnout, all sorts of stuff. But
Absolutely.
yeah, he connects mind, body, soul, spirit in a really good way, like a Joe
Yeah.
Dispenza type, and
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
it's
wanna
pretty
look it
dope.
up.
Yeah, but anyways, a couple
Yeah.
more.
Do you have any other books?
I love how y'all are so woke.
Yeah.
This is really fun.
Hashtag woke.
Oh, geez. I guess we're just.
It's such a cliche now, but it's really cool.
Actually, really
Yeah,
cool.
that's what we wanted to do. Just have a talk.
Definitely.
And we were talking about.
Also,
I'm not going to say it before the episode, but we're having that one conversation, and like we didn't know where this was going to go. So I think it got really
love it.
taken
Flowed
to a good
perfectly.
spot.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you can find us Goddessa.
I'm reading
Oh yeah, you're reading.
Women Who Run with Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like reclaiming your creative space, your creative power, and also radical acceptance is a really good book. How to actually like sit in your shit.
Sit in your shit.
That's so funny. I started
Holding
actually looking
space
at
for
that
yourself.
lady.
It's actually an audiobook.
Yeah.
It's really, 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 really
Yeah,
good.
I just stumbled across her. It's
What's
funny,
it called?
I know you're reading
Radical-
right now.
Radical acceptance or radical self-acceptance. I have to double
One
check.
of the two.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think radical self-acceptance.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
So
And,
then,
yeah.
where can they find you? Or where can the people get a hold of you? Where can they book through you?
Book through us, all that.
Look at that
Goddessa.
camera. Where's the camera? There you got your
Okay,
camera right
ooh,
there.
There I am. I haven't even been paying attention to all of this stuff. Hi, y'all. Goddessa, GODDESSA, entertainment.com or .ca. You'll find us. Please definitely check us out. Facebook, Instagram. Also for myself, Innerverse Connect, INNER. Innerverse, VERSE. I've said this so many times. CONNECT.ca.
Hold the other one up. Hold the other one up. No, the other one. Hold it up.
And Goddessa.
Hold the Goddessa. Hold it up to that camera there. Goddessa. This one over
Yay,
there.
this one. Yes,
This one. There it
that's
is.
you.
There it is.
Boom.
Boom.
So
Goddessa.
pretty.
Awesome. Hey, sweet.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. And Katya, KAHTJA.
Beautiful.
Find us all.
Beautiful.
Well, hey, that's
Thank
the
you.
Thought Exchange.
Thought
Yeah,
Exchange. That was an
thank you so
episode.
much.
That was an episode.
We did an
Thank you
episode.
for having us.
No, we did.
Yay.
All right, guys. Make sure you check us out on Thursdays at txcshow.com. That was my boy,
Cameron Barkey. Hey,
Cameron
what's up?
Barkey, Mr. Stripes over here,
Hey.
and Goddessa in the house. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Woo!
Woo-woo.